We are live.
And just like that, we are back with the Root and Rhythm podcast, where we are exploring the roots that ground us
and the rhythms that move us. We are
I'm
doing
Ken
this.
Finley.
Oh.
This is Early
This
Jackson.
is Early Jackson. I don't even know what we are. It's been a very long week. We are in my dining room, so welcome to my dining room. La la. We're happy to see you here.
Yeah.
We're happy to see you here. Please, while you're here, if you would like to, please subscribe. We need some subscriptions.
Yeah,
we're trying to get some like YouTube privileges that we can't access yet until we get our count up. So please help us.
And for real, you've seen an episode or two, so you know we're funny as hell. Go ahead and click the button.
And smart.
Yeah.
Well, mostly.
We are not just pretty faces.
No. It was nice to be able to just be a pretty face. I missed my youth for that reason. However.
Currently, I am a trophy husband. My wife married me just to sit around and look pretty and buy sneakers. So, Sharice, love you, baby.
My husband told me he married me for money and fun.
Mm.
So, I don't know what that makes me. The cruise director, apparently. I don't know.
Boy.
But here we are. So, on that note, we're talking today, our topic of the day, of this little half-hour segment, is alignment. And when we talk about alignment, we're talking about both personal and professional. And with people, we mean aligned in purpose, aligned in values, aligned in whatever it is that matters to you in that particular environment. So, Early, when I say, how is your alignment with your clients? How do you respond to that? How do you align with your clients?
Well, first, I feel like if I'm working with someone, if I'm working with them, if we've gotten to the place we're working together, I've already done we're connected. We're a good vibe together. But when I talk about alignment with clients, it's me being able to deliver to them what they need, and them being able to be empowered by it, and us connected.
So you want to work with someone you're already feel in good alignment with?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I am open to working with people that have a different alignment, but that limits, right? Because we were talking that kind of limits where we can go personal. That makes sense?
Yeah. So I know when I was bringing up my children, I used to talk a lot about when we talked about partnering with husbands or wives or whatever in the future. I would often share with them. I said, make sure you have your values aligned. That was a phrase they heard quite a bit of, I think, particularly as I was coming out of my second marriage and realizing kind of at the end of it that our values were never really aligned at all. And I was realizing what a detriment that was to our relationship and how that contributed to our marriage not working out.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How did you know that it had gone without alignment? Like, what does that look like?
A great example, and this is about values. So there's different ways to align with people. This is about a values alignment, like what you value, what you think is important to your moral compass. Okay. I watched him treat people badly that he thought were friends. So I saw him discard people that were no longer useful to him. That is not something I tend to ever do.
Wow.
And that just really becoming very aware of that made me go, oh, because once you start looking at one thing, you start looking at other things and you're going, oh, we really weren't lined up.
Because how you do anything is how you end up doing everything.
You do everything. And it's just so annoying and so true.
Yeah.
And you don't even know you're doing it. Like some of it is so subconscious. But alignment in a marriage, I think you would agree, is very important.
Oh, it has to be, because this is my second marriage, my do-over marriage. And I realized after 10 years of being married, I wasn't aligned with the person I just had 3 kids with.
That's horrifying.
Yeah. And I think what happened is we started out aligned, and I started being open to new thoughts and critical thinking. And and not to, bash my baby mama. I'm just saying we grew, and I kept trying to evolve and challenge my critical thinking, and she was very comfortable with hers. So at some point, our conversations just weren't even connecting because she was operating on one worldview, and I felt like I was on another.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, that sounds, yeah. I will say similar. I think realized it. Sometimes you don't realize it till you're a little older. And I'm also in my, do we call it a do-over if it's the third time? I don't know. We're trying it again. It's my trying it again marriage. We'll see. So, anyway, I will say for me, going into even dating after coming out of that marriage when I was ready to start dating again, I was incredibly crystal clear that I had to have someone who I was certainly politically aligned with.
Oh, yeah.
But also that lived their life in a way that I could line up next to. In that, and it's some of it's subtle stuff, but like how you treat friends, let me tell you something. That whole thing they say about like if you go on a first date with someone and how they treat the wait staff is very indicative of their character.
Yeah.
That shit is very true.
Yeah.
So if I see someone who's nasty to a waiter,
ain't gonna work.
I don't think we're gonna work out because I used to be a server and I take that shit personally. And everyone should just be fucking nice. Just be nice to people.
Why
Jesus.
can't you? It doesn't cost a dime to be nice. So I'm going to embarrass her.
Oh,
but
great. First time
when we were kind of setting up for our new shoot, she got a business call, and not that I was ear hustling, but I heard her say, you know what, we're going to do this the right way. Or you made references to that. Now, she is a real estate mogul, but I've worked with real estate folks who were cutthroat, shady.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
What in an industry where you have very little oversight?
Yeah.
Right. Where there's some ambiguity there. How do you keep one your values, but how do you keep that going?
I mean, and I probably would have given you a different answer 10 years ago than I do right now. So I'm going to say that that's always evolving. My gut instinct will tell me when it's wrong. Like I'll feel it literally in the middle, like right under my ribs.
Ooh.
I am, as I always say to people, I am so much harder on myself than anyone else is ever going to be. No one is as mean to me as me.
I think we all have that in common.
Literally. So if I'm having to deal with behaviors that are antithetical to how I like to do business, I've been in this game long enough now. I have the credibility to say, I've been doing this for X, Y, and Z time, and this is how I do business. And if you don't want to work with that, that's cool. Then we're not in alignment, and that's fine. Find you an agent that wants to do that. I'm just not.
No harm, no foul.
Because in as much as there's a lot of similarities across real estate transactions in general, we all can handle our business very differently, both emotionally, in terms of client management, in terms of how our rules. Like my broker is my agents that work under me have rules that maybe some brokers don't think are important, but I do.
Wow.
So in that way, professionally speaking, my agents have to align with me or I don't take them on.
I like that. And I kind of feel the same way about clients because my wife and I wear a lot of hats. We do a few different businesses, but one that's near and dear is the personal and professional coaching.
Yeah.
I know everybody's life coaching now, but I was doing it before it was popular.
Before it was cool.
Yeah.
Cool
so we work with clients, and I've seen coaches who will take money from a client for months, knowing that they need something else.
Oh, that would be awful. How do these people? Okay, see, how do you sleep? I don't get it.
And what I do, the way I run our coaching program is that you get 3 months on, but I need you to take a month off. I don't want you to keep paying because I want you to see if there are results, and then if you need more. And there have been times, we talk a lot about broke days where I'm like, man, I should build them another. Nope, absolutely not. Because it's not about me. It's about empowering somebody else.
Right.
So
I think that's really valid. I think a lot of people, young people in particular, don't think about those sorts of questions early on, again, unless they've been taught to do so. Certainly no one, I can promise you in my entire childhood, no one ever talked to me about what are your values?
What's your worldview?
How do you see your relationships with people in the world around you? And do you feel like it's ethical and moral? Literally never. We did have some of those conversations in my home with my children as they grew older. And my personal development was developing along. Yeah. But this is a conversation I wish we were having more of, because your values and figuring out what they are helps you be in alignment with those who are they don't have to be walking the same path necessarily, but you want them at least to be on a similar journey.
Somewhere in the neighborhood with you. Right.
It's very difficult to talk about personal growth with people who don't want to personally grow.
Then there's that.
There
realize that.
It's challenging, and it's really, I feel, it's difficult, I think, for folks who are born into families where their values are very antithetical to what maybe their family they grew up. Like a really good example and a very toxic one in our culture right now is people who were Trump voters or MAGA, if you will, to those who are not, decidedly not, like affirmatively not.
Right.
And oh, sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
And seeing how that's fractured families and sibling relationships and parent relationships and business relationships and friendships, and it's just, it can be very disheartening, because it's very difficult to maintain like a loving connection with someone when you're so unaligned.
Yeah.
Because you start wondering, like, you're not even speaking the same language. Often you're not.
Yeah.
You're not even saying the same thing.
And what's crazy is when we think about how the framework for our aligning comes. So we have these folks we live with called family that do a great job of jacking us up. Then they thrust it into the world and say, now conquer it. And we have to learn, most of us, not some have, but I definitely came from a misaligned prone family.
Same.
Same. And then to couple that with our unwillingness to deal with things. So all of our rugs were lumpy because we just kept sweeping stuff under that. But I feel like I had to relearn, right? I had to relearn what alignment meant because there were some moral things that grew in me, right? That the people around me weren't necessarily holding on to. So my worldview changed and theirs didn't. So what do you do with that?
Oh, that's so sticky.
Because you don't want to look like you're better than, that's not the air you want to give.
And it's not, certainly, if you want to come from kindness, that's not kind.
Right. Right.
So,
But there has to be a way to acknowledge people aren't going with you, but keep on going, right? Because I believe your vibe attracts your tribe.
It certainly does. I think that's true. Now, does that mean in a professional way, because a lot of us have to be out in the world with all kinds of people, does that mean you can't work effectively or work well with someone you're not necessarily aligned with? You think that means that?
Let's ponder. I think so. Well, no, I'm sorry. I don't think that means that. I think that we can do something different. Okay. I think because, especially in our business, because we make decisions on who we're going to work with.
We choose.
Yeah, we have that.
Ish, yeah.
So, but I've worked with people that that we had certain things in common, but there were some other areas that were a little bit different. Moral, I don't, you can't, adjust that. But other little things, political, so forth and so on, I've worked with people who were different. What about you?
My favorite story with people bring this up because it does come up in business circles sometimes more than you think. I had a client who was an avid Trumper. Still do. We're still talking. He's great. He'd known me for years. He knew exactly where I stood. He's been on my Facebook a long time. He knows. And I know him. And we know exactly where each other stands in terms of the current events of the day. And he still wanted me to help him purchase his home because he trusted me to take really good care of him because he knew I would. Because regardless of how we feel about each other politically, he knows my morals enough to know that I would bust my ass for him.
There we go.
Now, does that necessarily make it easier for me to do my job, to know that we're not aligned in this fashion? It doesn't make it I can't be as freewheeling. Neither can he. We're both having to kind of clamp down on our verbiage a little bit, but that's okay. We had a great transaction. We had a great time. He's in a great home that he really wanted, and it was perfect for him. And it was a pleasure and an honor, as it always is for me, to help him do it. But I'm not going to say that it was my preference either. I'll own that. I would always prefer to work with clients with whom I am morally aligned. It just makes life a little more comfy for me. And I think for them too, they feel a little safer. Particularly, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Just because I work with a lot of LGBTQ, and in particular, they need to feel safe.
Yeah.
Because they so often are not.
Yeah. Yeah. They're, yeah.
And so that for me is very important on that level. Not to go like super deep, but it makes a difference. It doesn't mean I would turn away business if they didn't, like, oh, you voted for Trump, I can't work with you ever. No, I can always do business. But you're probably not going to get invited to dinner.
And that's okay too, because
That's
there are
okay.
people, there are clients that you're closer to than others. But one thing when you were saying that, it really made me think about a word we haven't thrown around: integrity.
Oh,
So for
yes.
you to not be politically aligned with this person
Hmm.
and to do it to the best of your ability with excellence, that's integrity.
Yes.
And it's a little different than morality, right?
Correct. Integrity is, what is that saying they always talk about? Integrity is doing what's right when no one's
When no
watching.
one, yeah.
Well, no one was watching. Um, no one's ever really watching me do my job. I'm grown. But I'm just saying. But yes, to some extent, doing the right thing, even when it may be a little challenging, it's still the right thing to do. Treating my client with care and goodness and all of my strength is that's my job. I'm not going to do a half-assed job just because I think he voted wrong. Whatever. Like, he's not the first person I ever met that voted wrong.
Right.
That's like me shitting all over some cashier because they're wearing a Trump pin. I'm not doing that.
Because that's
So
not kind.
that's unkind. And
Yeah.
that's also, yeah. So I think you can have integrity. I think you can be strong in your values without compromise to some extent, without also punishing other people who aren't in alignment with you.
Wow.
I think you can. Now, in personal relationships, I don't know that that's always the case.
I don't think so either, because so I look at relationships like the airport after 9/11.
Oh,
So there are three different. So when you get to the curb, they want to know: one, are you in the right airline? Are you an American, Delta, whatever?
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of identifying there.
Right.
Then you get to the TSA and the other checkpoints, and they say, okay, we need to verify who you are, and you need to show us some things. So you get through there, but before you get on the flight, there is still another check. And I think that there are people that are in different stages of our lives.
Oh, that's good. That's
Right.
really
There are
good
people
analogy.
that don't have the security clearance to go all the way to Kim's
That's
house
a really good
for
analogy, y'all.
dinner. You know, that's reserved for people who we've identified, right?
They can come to the cookout.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
The barbecue. Sorry,
Cookout.
I know
barbecue.
we're not all invited to the cookout.
but and I think that what happens in alignment is we put people in the wrong space.
Oh.
We have an expectation of them that they can't fill.
Oh, that's really okay. Now I'm gonna have to think about that later. I'm gonna have to give that thought. Thank you for being my therapist today. Oh, that's like really good though.
Because think about it, disappointment is just a misalignment that you had an expectation on someone. Yep. So there are some people I have no expectation on. And
I have a list of those.
In fact, to quote DMX, he said, "I trust everybody.
Okay.
I trust everybody to be exactly who they show they are."
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
I love it. So,
that's fair.
I don't need you to do anything different. I've seen what I need to see, and I already know if you're going to get closer. So there's that.
That's really good. That's really good. Because a lot of us aren't aligned with people in our families.
Oh.
A lot of us, I mean, a lot of it, you know, I will say in this last, like a few, 3 election cycles, it's been very, you lose people.
Yeah.
Every time we have an election, I lose somebody.
Yeah.
Every time. Like, yeah.
And it's not a violent thing.
No,
you're not kicking
it's
them.
it's so hard to be in the world. And I'm not 25. My capacity is reached much sooner now. My batteries run down quicker. So I'm just like, I don't have the patience to deal with someone who I think like kindly externally, I might be like, oh, I can't make it to lunch. And inside I'm thinking, I wouldn't fucking have lunch with you because I don't want to break bread with someone who's racist. Okay.
Or who believes that a certain group of people, it's okay to take their rights away because they don't matter.
Those kinds of things. Like,
yeah.
So.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that. I saw some wheels turning right.
Yeah,
here.
I know.
Go ahead, let it out.
No, it's very challenging, I think, to think about alignment in general, but particularly when it comes to friendships. It's very difficult to parse, I think, in my world, probably yours too, because I wind up being friends with a lot of people I work with and vice versa. A lot of my friends work with me, because why wouldn't they? But obviously, but like, you know, I mean, like I said, I lose a few people every election, and that is so depressing. and it makes me sad, but it also feels like dead weight is off.
It's
Both.
it's crazy that social media has been the two-edged sword, because social media has given voice to people's privacy, right?
Oh yeah, their private thoughts.
Yeah, and they are willy-nilly throwing it out there. And here's my challenge with people saying, "Oh, we can disagree and still be friends." There are certain things that are non-negotiables, right? Like, yeah,
and mine may not be yours, and his may not be yours, and that's okay. Like everybody has their own set.
Yeah, because boundaries are set from your alignments.
Right.
So you, again, are picking, and this is for people who say, "Oh, I got all these, bad people in my life." You're the common denominator.
That's your choice.
You are the common denominator. But anyway, I digress. But you have the choice to put people together, right? And as you do that, you decide, I like the way they think. I don't like the way they think. I'm going to hang out with them. I'm just going to do business with them.
I mean, you can do both. But I think from a sleeping well at night and from a just good mental health standpoint, being in people that you are aligned with on a regular basis who resonate with you and you resonate with them, particularly when it comes to your marriage, the people who live in your home, the people who sit at your table for dinner, the people who you meet up with. Like again, my kid's school teacher doesn't have to think everything about I do. They don't have to agree with me about everything. That's cool. I don't need that. I need them to teach my child geography. That is fine.
Right. Don't indoctrinate them on anything else.
No.
Stick with geography.
But geography is great. Yeah. And I don't even mind my kids hearing other opinions. I've never been one of these parents that's like, I don't want my child to hear anything other than what I know. Like, whatever. The world is large. They're going to learn it anyway. But I want my kids to know where I'm at so that we can align together on those things that matter to us. Because not everything matters to them that matters to me. And vice versa.
You said something. We were on the phone earlier. And she said, my alignment rule with someone I was going to be with is they have to be funny.
Oh yeah.
Or they have to
be fun.
They have to be willing to have fun. That's that's an interesting topic.
What I do for a living can be very stressful. On me, but also on the clients. Buying a house, selling a house, there's stress. It's a very large purchase. It's a large sum of money. Everyone tends to get very clenched up about it. If you can't have fun in that process, you're going to have a hard time. And then I'm going to have a hard time. And then we're going to have a hard time together. And that's no fun. So that's almost my litmus test. Like how you voted is one thing. Don't be a sad sack. Have a sense of humor. Right. And I like funny people because I'm like, it's kind of like, because I'm funny. And if you're not going to enjoy me at all.
I love that. I'm funny. I don't know about you, but I'm funny.
Like I have trauma, ergo I have humor. So
comedy has been my therapy for decades.
I don't think Gen X could survive without sarcasm and jokes at this point, because it does help. So if you're, I don't tend to have clients who aren't fun.
Right.
And I think that's a joyous thing for me. I was able to build a business, and because most of mine is people sending me people, they know, and it works. And again, we're all in alignment because they know where my lines are. So it helps. It helps.
They're in alignment because they know where my lines are. That if you're tweeting or if you put that somewhere, that should go on Instagram. That should be a Kimism.
Only if I can make money on it. If you'd like to send me royalties, that'd be super.
Now, just so you know, we're so aligned that when me and my wife are out of town and we hear somebody say something, we know. We look at each other and say, Kim Finley.
Kim would say that.
Kim, that's Kim. We have been talking to people and say, you are so Kim. And they're like, who's Kim? And I'm like, oh, don't worry about it.
Inside joke.
Yeah. With outside people.
Yeah.
But and it's cool to be around fun people. It is, to me, it's vital. Like it's a part of my survival.
I don't know how serious people get by. Like I don't even know. Because a good belly laugh will solve a lot of ills.
And I've struggled with depression. I've struggled with anxiety. And being around funny people, especially when you're having a bad episode, they kind of pull you out, and say, come on, let's get back, hang out with us.
Which doesn't mean you can't feel your feelings. We're not saying that. Like if you're like, because all those feelings are real, you should feel how you feel. It's fine. No shame in that. But you also need, it's good to have someone around you who is like, well, we're not wallowing in this shit. I can make a joke out of that horrible thing right now. I can make 6 jokes out of that. And they're all horrible, but it's going to be funny. Like that's kind of what, like honestly, you just sort of need it.
Yeah, absolutely. And having the right people. And it's kind of like that bus. You got everybody on the bus, but they need to be in the right seat.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I think we've brought people close to us. And I've made that mistake where I've allowed surface things,
Yep.
honestly, wealth or their affluence, things like that to cloud
Get in the way.
how close I would try to get to somebody. And like you said, it takes growing up, going through my 30s, learning crap in my 40s, and now in my 50s.
Now I'm just tired.
Just trying to get it together.
Look.
Here's the deal. If you ain't aligned with me, if you ain't aligned with us now, you ain't gonna get. No, I'm just kidding. But at this stage, and that's a good thought. As we get older, how our lines kind of become fixed.
I think a lot of, you grow into who you are, right? Ooh. I mean, isn't that kind of what we're all supposed to be doing with this age thing? You're supposed to be growing into who you want to be. Again, it goes back to like everything for me goes back to song lyrics. That song lyric by damn it, I don't always forget his name. The guy with the tattoos, big guy, not Juicy. What's his name? You'll know it anyway.
Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll. Thank you. I can never. Why?
Jelly Roll donut.
He's got some emotional stuff. But he's got this one line when it says, and it literally says, "Where you come from isn't who you need to be." And I'm like, that's everything, because your whole life is spent growing toward, one hopes, who you want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I question if Congress has ever done that. All of them. I think none of them have ever asked themselves that question. Is this who I wanted to be? Probably not. See what happens? See what happens? So what I will say to you is think about not only your own value system, but how are you aligning in terms of your value system with people around you? And is it healthy? And is it working for you? And is it good for your mental health? And do you feel supported? Because all those things may spur you to make changes. It certainly has in my past caused me to make very dramatic changes. Because when I am not aligned with somebody, boy, do I feel it. And it's so, the older I get, the less I can cope with the discomfort.
It's like being in the bathtub with your socks on.
Ew, don't do that.
Dude. Being with the wrong people at the wrong time is like the worst torture ever. Because you're not getting what you need. They're not getting what they need.
And you know it. On some level, you know it. You just don't know why you're so uncomfortable. So bring that to your conscious mind so you can be aware. So we're going to wrap up. We hope this was a fun conversation for you, or at least gave you good food for thought. Please don't forget to smash the little subscribe button down below. We appreciate it. And please do leave us a comment if you have one, if it's nice. Don't be mean.
Yeah. No.
If you have helpful suggestions, we love those. Yeah. We'd also love to know topics you'd like us to explore. We try not to go too terribly deep, but we can if you want that. So we're kind of happy to make it sort of what the audience would like. We're okay with that.
We're lighthearted.
We can just talk all the time about everything. So it's really whatever. You need us. You want to talk? We can talk about comic books. We can talk about music. God, could we talk about music for days? We could talk about home decor. We got
I'm a sucker for
literature, books, like you name it.
I'm a sucker for a good backsplash. I love HGTV. Yeah. Listen, folks, thank you so much for watching us. Again, click subscribe. This is Kim Finley, Early Jackson, and the Roots and Rhythm podcast, where we are examining the roots that ground us and
the rhythms that move us. And we hope we've moved you today. Have
it
an
don't
awesome
get no better, people.
Peace out. Bye. Oh, I gotta turn the off button.